So here we are with our first tutorial for the Musselburgh by Ysolda Teague, and I've got my yarn, I've got my needle, 3mm needle for doing magic loop, and this is a chow goo, which is my preferred one. I've got my beginning of round marker, I'll just pop there, and then I have got 4 of these little stitch markers, and at the start you do only need 2 of those, but if you decide to go onto a 16-inch circular you will need 4. As I said before in the introduction to these this little mini series, the tutorial that I follow, and there's one thing I've mentioned that you do need that I haven't got and I haven't said, and that is you do need a crochet hook, and it needs to be a similar size to the needle that you're using. So I'll just go and get my 3mm crochet hook. You can get these relatively cheap for a few pounds if you don't have one, and don't worry about it being a little bit scary. It's very simple what we're going to do, literally just catching a loop and creating our cast on with the crochet hook. But I will just get my crochet hook and I will show you what I mean. Okay, so I have my crochet hook here, and this is a 3mm, and the reason I've got a 3mm is to match the needle that I'm using for the Musselburgh. These are relatively cheap. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them in a multi-pack, or I'm sure you can get individual ones at your local yarn store relatively cheap for a few pounds. I find these with the plastic grip on are just easier to use. I can crochet, but I'm not a massive crocheter, so you don't need to be really skilled in crochet to do this. You are just using the hook to loop the yarn through, so don't let this put you off. It's a fantastic pattern, and you're only using this for 8 stitches for the cast on. So I'm going to follow along with Nitty Natty's tutorial to do my cast on, and I'll take you along while I do that. But obviously I will link her tutorial. She explains it really well, and I'm sure any beginners would be able to do it. Now the first part is doing a knot but not tying it. So now we are going to create the magic ring. So I've got my tail in my right hand and the yarn here in my left. I'm going to now essentially create a knot that I do not tie. I'm going to put my tail underneath and then through again, and there you can see. So I'll just show you that again. So I'm going to take my tail and I'm going to put it underneath and then through again. And there you have it. And I'll lay it down on here so you can see. And that is your magic ring, as Nitty Natty does it in her video. So I'm going to slightly lift up my magic loop so I can get my crochet hook underneath, and I'm going to pull a loop through. So I've just got a little loop of the yarn over there, and then I am going to tighten it up a little bit and do a yarn over, and I'm going to hold the yarn here to keep it a bit more sturdy, and then pull my hook through. Now that is your first stitch. Now when you get to this point, it makes it so much easier because as you see you can pick it up. It's not the easiest thing to film. It is a little bit more easy to do not on camera, but now you can go ahead and tighten up your loop a little bit, but don't tighten it too much because you still need to be able to make another 7 stitches. Now I've got this yarn tightened now over, which also makes it a lot more easier. Now we're going to dive into the ring again, we're going to do a yarn over, we're going to pull that through, and then we're going to do yarn over and pull the yarn through the loop we have just made. Now again, they are close together, so you just need to watch what you're doing and that you're not taking that yarn through both loops. So I'll show you that again. Inside your circle, and I've got here the 2 strands together where we made the magic loop. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through. So I've got a stitch there, but I need to finish that stitch by doing another yarn over onto my hook and then pulling that through that last loop. And as you can see, it's starting to create little stitches here. We've got 3 and we need 8. So through, yarn over, and then yarn over to pull that through the loop you've just made. And that's 4. And then again, pull it through, yarn over, and then pull it through that last stitch. You've got to be very careful that you're only going through the last loop that you've pulled through. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to do 3 more. And I'm hoping that you can see what I'm doing. But as I've said several times in this video, Knitty Natty does a fantastic tutorial, which I find I have to pull. I can do this now actually without even following the tutorial pretty much, because I've done it a few times. But it is fantastic. I highly recommend you go and watch that, and you can pause it, and she's very, very good at explaining how to do this, and I'm relatively new to it, but I thought I'd show you on here so that you can see that oh, there you see I've done something wrong there, so I just dropped that off because I knew I'd gone wrong there. So under, yarn over the hook, if I can make it do it, pull it through, yarn over your hook again, and then just pull it through that very, very last stitch. And there you can see I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches. So we're ready now. So we can tighten this a little bit more now, which makes it a bit better. And there you see, that is your 8 stitches cast on. But now we need to get it transferred onto our needle so that we can start knitting. So I will show you that now. Currently all the stitches on this crochet hook are back to front. Now I just do exactly what Knitty Natty explains. The first part is to transfer them across onto your needle that you're going to be knitting with. So I'm just going to do it very slowly, one by one. I just put my needle into the back and slip it across. I don't do anything with them because, like I say, I just literally follow the tutorial, because she makes it, the start of this, very, very easy. Once you've done this once or twice, it is very easy to do. And I know it seems daunting, so you don't need your crochet hook now. And there we have, all the stitches are on the needle, but they are back to front. So we are going to have to turn these around so that they're the right way, ready for us to knit our first row. Now we are going to flip our stitches, and we are also going to add our 2 stitch markers so that we know where we can do our increases, and we'll be setting up for magic loop. So what we're going to be doing to be able to turn these stitches round the right way, to untwist them, we're going to be transferring them across to this needle, and while we do that, we are also going to place our stitch markers at the correct points. So what you have to do is you have to take this needle and you need to go into the back of the stitch, which is this bit here, and I hope you can see that. So I'm going to show you. My needle is going to go in that way. So not through the back loop that way, you're going to go to the other side of the back loop and you're going to slip it off onto here, and that turns it round. And then again, round the back, through, and then slip it off that needle. Now be very careful because your stitches might be quite loose at this point. And then you need to get your stitch marker and place it on the needle after you've done 2 stitches. Now you're going to transfer 4. So again, through the back and transfer it, and through the back. That's 2 and 3 and couldn't get hold of that one there, and 4. And then I am going to put my next stitch marker on, and then I just need to transfer the last 2 stitches. And there we have it. The stitches are now the correct way around, ready for our first row, and we just need to now separate it for magic loop. So I will show you how to do that. So we need to move our stitches down to, sorry for the needle clanging on my desk, down to the center of the needle, and we're going to split these in half, which means we're going to be 4 stitches on one needle and 4 stitches on the other. And to do this, we just separate it and bend the cable so that you can pull it through. It can be quite tricky because the stitches can be quite loose at this point. And then we're just going to slide the stitches down and keep going until they are both on the needle. And at this point you can close your ring up a little bit further if you need to. I promise you that when you get through this little stage, it is a lot easier. And once you've done your first couple of rounds. So this is the magic loop setup. I've got stitches on both of my needles, and then I've got this big cable to enable us to move it around. And at this point, this is when you need to refer to the pattern.